Welcome back to the GP Productions podcast. Okay, welcome back to the show. And as you can see, I'm joined by Kelli Brink from Crime IRl again. Kelli, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you, Morris?
I am good.
Good. What's new?
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas coming up. Are you ready?
Yeah, pretty much ready. Yeah, you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went overboard this year. My spare bedroom is like full of boxes that need to be wrapped, and I went a little crazy.
Yeah, plenty of time for wrapping. So you
Yes.
picked the topic today for our true crime and wrestling. Do you want
I
to?
did. I picked this topic today knowing nothing about it, thinking, "Oh, there's going to be plenty of stuff out on the interwebs about this case." Wrong. There's not a ton about this person. This person being Brian McGhee, also known as Brian Ladd, DT Porter, and Donovan the Future Ruddick. So he was an American pro wrestler. He had a very short stint in wrestling, and convicted murderer, as we're going
Yeah,
to find out.
yeah. I was looking on this case as well, and if you went back to the start, you kind of alluded to it off camera when we were talking that he kind of went through a difficult childhood.
Yeah, he did. It seems like, he was born into a real low income family in the Midwest, like in the St. Louis area, I believe. He was picked on and teased a lot in school because he was poor and he was a big kid, maybe a little awkward. But yeah, he was just picked on a ton when he was younger. But as he got a little older, he would kind of use his size to his advantage. He would become involved in sports. He was like touted as the 6'9" giant or monster. So he was a big guy. He was actually 6'7", about 280 pounds. So obviously that lends itself to kind of excelling at a variety of sports. And he did. He was in varsity sports in high school, and yeah, he was an all-star athlete pretty much. And growing up, when he was being picked on and teased relentlessly and stuff, he had these dreams of becoming a pro wrestler. It was like in his blood from a very young age. That's all he wanted to do. So yeah, so he would do that. Yeah.
I think when he was in college and he done the sporting things, I think it kind of put him on the right track at that time in his life. That'd be
Yeah,
fair
I
to
think
say.
so. Yeah. So, what also put him on the right track was when he graduated from high school, he enlisted in the US Navy. So he was in the Navy from 2002 to 2004, and that would, give him a lot of discipline and direction, is
Yeah.
where he was going in life. So, yeah,
As
yeah.
as an
Yeah,
Irish
go ahead.
man, being in the U.S. Navy is a massive deal in the U.S., like, isn't it?
Mhm. Military overall, but yeah, the Navy is a huge deal. Yeah.
Yeah. And then after he left the Navy, then he obviously decided that he wanted to go back down the sporting route, and he done independent wrestling, I believe, in the Florida area, in
Yeah.
the late 2000s.
Yeah, he did. So after he was done in the Navy in 2004, he actually went back to St. Louis for a while and had a variety of jobs, but none of them were anything all that special. But yeah, he had those dreams of pro wrestling, and so he went after it. In 2006 is when he decided to finally follow those pro wrestling dreams. So, he wrestled. He started. I don't know what all the
Term,
organizations are
yeah,
and what they're called and everything, but he started wrestling circuits through the Midwest. He even
yeah,
actually, I live in Iowa, right in the middle of the country, and he actually wrestled in Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, the states around me. So
yeah,
one of the promos I saw that he was doing for one of his shows was it kind of, I chuckled. It was in the Quad Cities, which is in Iowa, and I've been to like boxing matches and MMA fights and stuff in the Quad City area. So yeah, I was like, oh, that's just kind of weird that he was in my home state for a while, but yeah. So he
he,
he won like numerous heavyweight championships, and he was, going up the ranks. He was doing pretty darn good, and he just like towered over all of his opponents. So he had definitely had size on his side. So yeah. And then in 2010, he actually joined the WWE under their developmental territory
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I can break that down for you
Yeah,
because
yeah. You
it,
you you have more.
FCW is what it was known as at the time, and it was
Was it the
basically
Florida
championship wrestling.
Championship
Yeah.
Wrestling? Yes.
So
Okay.
it was basically like a training school for wrestlers. WWE still do this, but they call it NXT, and they have a performance center down in Florida now. So the way it
Okay.
works is they get these guys in and they get them wrestling in front of small crowds, but they'd have cameras there to give them the feel of a live TV show. If WWE feel that they're making the progression to jump from there, like massive guys and were in that promotion, like John Cena, Batista. These are all like movie stars now. They all came
Yeah.
from FCW as well, and they may have even met this guy. But
Probably. Yeah.
yeah, but I was thinking the reason why, like when the Chris Benoit thing happened, that was a massive story over here.
Yeah.
This didn't really make much news over here. I think because he was in FCW, it
Yeah.
is technically part of WWE, but I think a lot of it kind of went under the radar. I don't think people
Yeah.
realized that he was actually that close to a big company, or it would have been a bigger
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. He hadn't made it really big yet, so he
Hmm.
was just kind of, yeah. Yeah, there wasn't a lot about it in the media, online news stories. There's just not a lot of information about all of all of that. But yeah, so he was in Florida. Um what I read is in 2011 he sustained an injury that would keep him kind of out of the game for a while. And that whole developmental thing, that organization under the WWE, it sounds like it was not a very good time for him in his life. He would talk about that the trainers just like treated him terribly, and that his peers again kind of like picked on him and stuff. Everyone was kind of ribbing him a lot. Everybody was kind of on his case because he was injured for so long and like not doing what he was supposed to be doing, I guess. So he just felt really kind of oppressed under the WWE developmental um, group.
Territory. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And his depression would get really bad while he was there in Florida. Um, by 2012, he had turned to alcohol big time. And he was, he really hated the system. He would be released actually in 2012 by the WWE. So things were kind of falling apart in his life, it seemed
Hmm.
like. And he would make this weird post on social media just talking about how much he hated the WWE and his trainers and how terrible it was, and that he was drinking daily and he kept gin and vodka in the trunk of his car. So he was really struggling mentally. And I like with all these wrestlers, and I feel like, they get their heads knocked around a lot. I wonder if
Yeah.
he may have had like a traumatic brain injury, something like that, like a lot of the other guys that we've talked about have had. And then alcohol exacerbates that. He's got depression, alcoholism, head injury, all sorts of stuff. It's a
And then there
recipe
could
for
be
disaster.
because he was injury prone as well, then painkillers can go into the equation as well, which is
Absolutely. Yes, for sure. Yeah. So he was released by the WWE. His wife left him at this time also, and he lost his nephew. His nephew passed away, and he was really close to him. So he had just his whole world was imploding. He was really struggling. He was making cries for help on social media. People were really starting to worry about him, including his new girlfriend after he was, split up from his wife. He was dating 25-year-old Bianca McGhee was her name. She was also originally from St. Louis, but they both lived in the Tampa, Florida area. And she was growing really worried about him. And eventually, she would even be pushed away by his behavior, his volatile, all the stuff that he was
yeah.
doing to push people away. Um, and July 25th, 2013, it would all come to a head.
hmm
Um,
That
so
day when that happened, sorry to cut across you for a second.
yeah, yeah,
There was a guy who witnessed an altercation outside the apartment before he stabbed
yeah,
multiple times.
yeah. Yeah, so she was just out walking her dog, and, she was talking on her cell phone as she was walking. She was actually talking on her cell phone to, Brian McGhee's wife. They were both discussing how worried they were about his mental health situation, and, "What are we gonna do to help him? He's really losing it here." So, at that time, Brian pulls up in his vehicle while Bianca's out for a walk, gets out of his car, and punches her in the stomach. They start fighting. He's a huge guy. She probably can't really fight back, and she's got her dog and stuff. So, and she's on the phone. So he took her by surprise with that, and he had a knife with him, and he began stabbing Bianca. Um, just so brutal this attack was, and it was brazen, just out in broad daylight with people around. He just starts stabbing Bianca, and so brutally, like, the knife broke off in her body. So
Oh,
what did he do? He walked back to his car, got another knife, kept stabbing her. And I mean, that's
it's
just
crazy.
the ultimate brutality there. And so, um, it was just vicious. He would go back to his car, then he would flee the scene. Um, but before he was apprehended, he would post some really graphic pictures on social media of this attack. He had taken pictures of Bianca's bloody body, not her face, but just, parts of
Parts
her
of our body.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the stab wounds were. And he posted those on as his Facebook profile picture. So he was
Wow.
really not in his right mind. He would lead police on a high-speed chase then because people called 911 because they saw the attack happening.
This,
Um,
sorry, Kelly,
yeah.
the chase itself, this went on for a long time, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a pretty wild police chase, but it would ultimately end with Brian McGhee crashing his car into a guardrail, and he was injured pretty badly. I don't know if he was trying to, commit
Kill himself.
suicide or
Yeah.
something, but he was injured pretty badly, so he would be taken to the hospital. It was obvious he was guilty of this crime. He took the pictures, he posted them on social media. He admitted to people that he did it. There were witnesses. So it was pretty cut and dry. And in Florida, he was facing the death penalty for this. So that's kind of a big deal. So what he would do was he would get offered a plea deal, plead guilty, and you'll
Live.
avoid the death penalty. So that is what he did. He pleaded guilty. He knew what he was getting into, and he's now serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole in the state of Florida. And it's just another sad story, another brutal, violent, sad story. It's like this pro wrestling curse, I think. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
So,
because I
yeah.
was I was trying to look up some things from court. And I was like, why is there no court details? So that's the way it works in America. If
Yeah. Yep.
you
So
plead guilty.
there just wasn't a trial involved. There were court appearances and things like that, but since he was pleading guilty, no trial. So, yep. So he was sentenced and he's serving his time right now. He will die in prison. Um, and that's where it's at. So,
Yeah, because in this country, sometimes the death penalty is only like 25 years and people can get out. You know, we
really?
we could do a whole other thing about the Irish law system some other time,
Oh,
but it's
wow.
crazy. But this
Well,
guy will never see
yeah.
the light of day.
He won't. Nope, he won't. And probably shouldn't either because what he did was just terrible. Um, but I think there were a lot of mental health aspects of the crime. I think, like I said, the wrestling industry seems like everyone has like some sort of brain injury or
Yeah,
something after doing it and getting knocked around so many times, so many concussions. It really does change the structure of your brain. And violence, depression are all things that happen as a result of that. So,
yeah.
yeah. But
In
yeah,
in
this case was just so not it's just not very well known. It's there were less stories and news articles than a lot of the other cases I've covered and it's just not really
you
talked about a whole
you
lot.
you kind of picked a tricky one for yourself there.
I did. As I was
Yeah,
researching, I'm like, what did I do? But yeah, it's a good one though. I mean, a good one to talk
yeah.
about.
And
It's
there's some
pretty
people that
crazy.
might not know about it, especially over
Yeah.
here in Europe.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yep, for sure. But
Yeah,
he had such a promising career. Um, just his own issues
d-
got in the way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's we always kind of end on real sad notes in these podcasts
Oh,
because they're always kind of so out there.
I know, I know. Let's talk about something happy. I know something good. I have a show coming up in February. I have not announced it yet, so you guys are the first to hear about it.
It's an
Details are
exclusive.
not even in place yet. What'd you say?
Exclusive.
Oh, it's an exclusive dish
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
February, let's see, 10th through the 13th. I, along with several other podcasters, will be doing like a tour basically in the Denver, Colorado area. We're going to do like 4 shows. And so details are to be announced on that. You can go to truecrimeirl.com here in the next little bit for more information and to buy tickets to the shows and things like that. And lots of exciting things coming up in 2022. I've got also a whole new season of True Crime IRL coming out. I'm going to be doing a deep dive, and it's kind of a secret right now, but
Okay.
you'll see what's coming up.
Yeah. And I will put
Yeah.
all the true crime links in the description of this video.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank
Right.
you. Thanks for
Un-
having me on.
Thank you. Until the next sad story, we'll see you
I
again.
know. Okay.
Oh,
Bye,
and happy
everybody.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all of you guys too. Yeah.